Hi everyone, it's Barry here from Mitosu Crafts, your independent Stampin' Up demonstrator based here in the UK. Thank you so much for joining me today, and thank you for joining me for this week's Fun Fold Friday video tutorial. This week I'm going to be making this star card, so it's this one right here. Going to be using it with the Poinsettia Petals stamp set, or the Poinsettia dies basically, and the sentiment here to create a topper. But the fold itself actually is this lovely star card, so you can see here what it is. So that's what I am going to show you how to create today. So you can use anything which you want. Like I say, I'm on a bit of a Poinsettia Petals run at the moment. I'm really enjoying this stamp set again. I'm loving the dies, I'm loving the red velvet paper, so you've probably seen me use and do these toppers quite a few times recently. So I'm going to be making another one on camera for you today, but I have pre-cut a lot of stuff for you, just so that it's a little bit quicker. So if you want to see this from beginning to end of how it's done, please check out some of the other videos. I'll pop a link somewhere at the top there to some of our other videos where I've maybe spent a little bit more time with the die cutting, showing you how to do it. But I will be doing a little bit with you today as well. But the main thing is I'm going to show you how you can make this lovely fold cards, this star card right here. All the products you see us using you can purchase from us if you wish. Links to our online shop can be found down below in the description. Also remember to give us a thumbs up if you are enjoying what you see. Also hit the subscribe button somewhere over here as well, and make sure you hit that all notifications button as well to be notified of when we release and do our videos. Now we come live to you, actually do a live video every Wednesday and Sunday evening at 7 PM UK time, and I'd also bring this video to you on a Friday at 6 PM. Sometimes it's live, sometimes it's pre-recorded like now, but if it is pre-recorded I will be chatting along with you live as well at the time on Friday at 6 o'clock, either myself or Jay, so please do say hi in the comments as well. We are here chatting with you at the time this video premieres, so thank you very much. So please say hi. Hello. So anyway, let's crack on with today's video. Sit back, relax, enjoy, grab a cuppa, and just enjoy these next 20 minutes, half an hour, however long it takes me to create this card, showing you how to make this star card right here. To create this card, you're going to need some very simple basic materials. Okay, you don't need much for this. Obviously the most complicated part of this card is actually the topper. So to make the actual card itself, you're going to need to take yourself some basic white cardstock. Now I've got an A4 piece in front of me. I will cut this down to size, and we just basically want to make an A6 card base. And you will need 2 pieces of designer series paper measuring 9.5 by 13.6. And that's all you need to create this. So if you've got some scraps which you need to use up, that's all you need. Okay, I'm using the same pattern for both panels on this one, but if you wanted to, you could do a nice coordinating colour. I've just touched it. I may actually use a coordinating colour on this one. I've just seen what the back looks like, and it looks quite nice. So I may actually do a coordinating. On the original, I did them both exactly the same, but I'm thinking I might actually use this one at the back, which may be quite interesting. I will work that out as I go along. But yes, so you will need 2 pieces of paper here. So remember 9.5 by 13.6, and your card base cut down to an A6. So we cut ours down to 14.6 centimeters, which is 5 3/4 of an inch, and then we're scoring half at 10.5 or 4 1/4. Okay, that there is how we create our A6 card bases, and then these are the matten layers which go round quite nicely here, but we'll go to that in a moment. What we want to do is we want to fold and burnish this card in half. And we want to grab our trimmer again, and what we want to do is, I've got the opening here on the right hand side. What we want to do is we want to cut from this corner here. We want to cut from this top corner here to this bottom corner down here. Remember, the opening is on the right hand side, and we want to cut away those 2 pieces. You can do this bit by bit if you want to individually, but I found it was easier to actually, if your trimmer allows you to go through the 2 pieces together. Just make sure you push quite hard, and you can then cut through the two pieces. At the moment, keep these in order, okay? Because what we want to do is we want to open this up here, and then I will then want to then pop this one. It's just easier this way to do it like this. Then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab myself a pencil or a pen at the moment. I've got one of my erasable pens. So I'm just going to write an R on this one over here and an L on this one over here, just so I know what one is correct, what one is what side. All right, so that's that. So you've cut that one, cut the sides out, and you popped a mark on it. Pop that to one side for the time being. And we will then grab our designer series paper. So with our designer series paper, what we want to do, actually I'll just bring this in, it might be easier to show you. What we want to do is we want to have one pattern on the back over here, and then we want to then have a pattern on this one. So the back one, I'm actually going to I will probably use this this checked pattern. So if you have a little look at how this wants to, the easiest way I found this was I'm going to go with the star pattern on the triangular tabs right here, and I'm going to go with a check pattern on this one over here. So what I need to do is I want my check pattern, so I want to, on this one here, because I want my check pattern, I'm going to go this way. So when I cut this through, I'm going to go from this corner to this one here, which matches that pattern right there. So grab your trimmer again. Now, I suppose it doesn't really matter on this one because it is not directional, but if you had something which was directional, this is quite an important step that you get this round the correct way. So that one there is going to go in like that. And then I want this one to then be the other side. So this is now going to be this one over here. So it's kind of the opposite. So then when we do this one, I'm going to go from this corner to this corner. Again, because it's directional, it doesn't really make, it's not directional this one, so it doesn't really make much of a difference. But following this little step technique, this system will ensure that you, if you have got a directional pattern, will go to plan. So then this one here is then going to be that one, that side there. And then we flip this one over, which then goes over onto that, like so. Now, if we were using exactly the same pattern, then this one, which we cut from that one there, would sit over like that, and so on. Okay, but because I want to use coordinating, then you can then just reverse them over. So there we have it. So we can go ahead and we can then stick all of those pieces down onto our cardstock. And then what we would do is, after I've done that, I'll let that dry, create the flower, and then I will then show you then how this actually constructs. So I'm just going to pop glue on the back of all of this right now. There we have it. Okay, so we've got our designer series paper now stuck onto the middle part, and we've got our designer series paper, the coordinating one, stuck on the two tabs right here. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to let that dry up completely, because when we come to do the snipping later on to actually make this connect, we want to make sure that the designer series paper is nice and dry and stuck nicely. So just pop all of that to one side for the time being, okay, and then we will then do the flower. So with the poinsettia, I'm using the poinsettia petals, poinsettia dies right here. And I'm going to be using it on the red velvet. So I've already gone ahead and I've gone and pre-cut a lot of stuff here as well. So you can see it, I'm going to be doing it. Now the reason I've used red on this one is because I thought the contrast between the red and the grey was quite nice. I could have used the white on it, but I felt it may have been too samey. I liked myself, I like the contrast, but the white is really, really pretty as well. So I've gone ahead and I've gone and done two of those, and I've used the embossing dies on those to give some really nice detail on that poinsettia. I've got myself two of the holly leaves. I've got myself a couple of sprigs right here as well. I've got 3 of these, and then I've got the center part of the flower. So what I would do first is I can start sticking these 2 together, and then I'm going to then cut the smallest one out for you live on camera so you can actually see what they are actually all about and how they actually cut. So the first 2, I'm just going to then just pop those down and then off center those, and they can be drying whilst I then do the 3rd petal. So pop those to one side. So this is the dies right here. So you've got the outer and you've got the inner one. Again, the dies also coordinate with the stamp set. So if you wanted to stamp these and then do some colouring, you can do. They also coordinate with it. But I just think this red velvet or the white velvet, the snowy white velvet, is absolutely perfect for that. So I'm just going to then pop this in here. I'm going to run this through my machine. So I've got myself my mini cutting machine right here, which is perfect for these smaller dies. So pop your small one in, and then because this, as I said before, because this is on velvet, I'm happy that this isn't going to move too much. If this is on like a silvery, on something which is slippery, I probably wouldn't put these 2 together and cut them at the same time, because you run the risk of then one of them moving, then overlaying on the die, then you're going to then damage the dies, and yeah, it's a complete and utter mess. But because this is got a bit of friction on this, it doesn't move. You can see that it hasn't moved, so I'm happy to run this through my machine. So just run this through, and that's going to cut and emboss at exactly the same time. Love this set. This was a favourite of mine last year, and again, it's a favourite of mine once again this year here. And this is actually in the annual catalogue. So if you are watching this next year after Christmas, you can still get this one. So you see the detail which that has then popped onto that flower itself. So once you've gone ahead and done that, we can then stick this one to this one right here. So a little bit of wet glue in the middle. And then just off center that one in the center like that. And then we basically just want to then construct this, and I will do this by popping some of these behind. So we just need to, I seem to have a bit of a pattern with how I want to do it. I kind of seem to be going with two holly leaves like this, and then I then go around with some sprigs. So I'm going to follow the same pattern because it works. So a little bit of glue on the back side here, and then just stick that kind of like that. We'll need just to let that set up a little bit. It just takes a little bit of time. Now you could obviously use the tear and tape technique. So if this isn't drying as fast as you would like it to, you can then also just grab yourself some tear and tape, and this just helps it along. You can just pop your tear and tape over that one. So whilst that glue is then drying up, setting up, then you can then pop that in there just to support that, help that along a little bit. So then with this one over here, I'm going to pop this one at a kind of like a bit of a 9, so I've gone like 2 and 9 is kind of like where I'm going. And then with the actual sprig parts here, we'll probably just snip some of these off, so you can just maybe just take the end parts off, so you can then tuck this in a little bit more, and then we will then just tuck this in like that. So a little bit of glue on here, and then tuck that in. Same thing with the other 2. So I'm kind of like going in between the large and the medium petals on this one. So this is kind of like a bit of a bronze which I'm using on this one, rather than the gold or the silvers. I thought I'd go for a bit of a bronzy look to this one today. And then I will then just stick the center part on a mini dimensional. So a little mini dimensional in the center right here, and then take the center part, then pop that on like that. So that there is my topper. So go ahead and create your topper how you wish. and let that dry up. Put that to one side, just let that dry up, and then what we would do is we would then work with the next part whilst this is then drying and getting ready to be plonked on top of the card. What I've got here is a bit of scrap basic white cardstock, and I'm going to be doing my sentiment with the lovely labels punch. So you want to cut your piece of paper to whatever size you've got here. So I've got 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, or 1 inch, or 1.3 centimeters, 1.9, or 2.5. I'm going to go with a 3/4 inch or 1.9 centimeters. I'm just going to bring it just a fraction lower than that, just a smidge, and I'm going to cut a bit out of this one. Again, I'm using the same technique as what I've done on lots of videos at the moment, so hopefully you're getting the idea and picking up some tips. So I'm just going to pop this in, and I'm just going to then do one side like that. I'm going to grab my sentiment. Now I'm going to stamp my sentiment in basic grey, because red didn't quite work. Black was a little bit too harsh, and because I've got grey in the paper, it's coordinated quite nicely. So I'm just going to ink up the Merry Christmas in some basic grey, and then I'm just going to then stamp this where I need it to be, concentrating on the position over onto the left hand side, because we can always snip down the right hand side in a moment. So get that in there like that, and there we have this lovely Merry Christmas sentiment right there. All right, then pop my lid back on my ink before I drop it, and then what we want to do is we then want to then snip off the end part. So using this offcut which we have got right here, I can then use this for my positioning where I need it to be. Grab myself a bit of a pen here, and then just pop a mark. Grab my snips, snip this off along that line, and then run it back through your punch, and then you've got yourself your perfect placement, like so. All right, so you can then do that one. We can then pop this to one side, and now I can then do the construction of the card. Now it's just had a little bit more time just to dry up. So bring these in right here. This is like that. What you want to do is you want to pick these ones. I'm going to do this now, just follow these steps. Pick these up like that, turn it round like so, and then turn it round like this. So let's do that again. So I pick it up, turn it round so it looks like that, and then turn it like that, and then bring the two together. And that is going to create your star part. So again, like that, to like that, to like that. And create, and then you want to pop some glue on the one behind in this area right here. So so have a little look at your positioning. So you want to try and have equal pieces sticking out. Try and make sure everything just looks pleasing to the eye. You don't want it to look like this. You want to try and make sure everything looks equal. So I'm going to pop some glue on here, but behind, and then stick that down. And then just let that get itself nice and stuck. Whilst that's doing its business, pop that to one side. Then we're going to grab our trimmer again. So you can either do this one of two ways. You can either do it with a straight line down if you want to, or you can do it at a diagonal. Now, all the ones I've seen have been diagonal lines so far. I'm going to do, sorry, have been straight lines down. I'm going to do this at a angle so it angles it so that the actual card itself, the star part leans back into the card a little bit. Now the way that I did this, I folded it up. I want to grab my ruler, and I want to then mark this. So I folded it over. I then want to mark this at 3 inches. So 3 inches from this point down here up, so put it at a 3-inch mark. And then I just want to pop another mark in around about 1/4 inch down like that, and then just continue that down at the bottom. That would just help you line up. So I'm doing this at the 1-inch mark, so it was at 3 inches along the edge. I've then moved my ruler over to around about 1/4 inch in, popped about 3/16 to 1/4, popped a mark here at 1 inch, and then just carried that on down the bottom down here, because that one here there will help you line this up. So let me just bring that in and show you that one. Okay, so I've lined it up, marked it at 3 inches, then I've brought my ruler over and then marked it at 1 inch, at about 1/4 of an inch in, and then I've then just popped a little mark down at the bottom down here, wherever that is. No particular mark, but no particular measurement, it's just wherever this line intersects itself. Then what I want to do is I want to grab my trimmer, line this mark up with the mark you did at the bottom down here, and then grab our trimmer and then cut through both of them, and then just bring that roughly down to where that pencil, where that mark was, where you did it down here. Okay, so I've just come a little bit short, but that's fine. But again, I've done that through both pieces, and that's just given us a little bit of an angle and a triangle there. So there we have it. So that's that one. Then what we do is we then take this one, now that's had time to dry, we slide it in that side over here, slide it in that side, and then that there has created your star card like that. If that was straight, then this would be standing up a lot more. I liked it so that it was a bit more of an angle, and then it sat back on itself, and that there is that. All right, what we want to do now is just stick our topper onto the center part here. So this is nice and simple. So there was lots of ideas around with this one floating around on the internet, but the lady, I got the original, I got this, the one which I stumbled across, which I got a good video for, was Sam Calcott, which is a UK crafter. So I'll pop a link to her video down below in the description as well, and she's done some other variations. She's also got some bigger versions as well if you want to have a little look. So I'll pop a little link to her video down below. Very, very talented UK crafter. So yes, go and have a little look at hers if you are looking for some more inspiration. So I've just gone and popped my topper on there, and then with my sentiment I will then grab my dimensionals once again. So I'm going to take my mini dimensionals here, and no, actually I'm going to take some large dimensionals on this one, and then I'm just going to pop some of these, one in the center and then one on either side, and then we would then just stick that in the center of this one. So the best way really of doing this is stick these in like that and lay it down flat. Make sure you've got that kind of like that point is in line with the score line here, just so you know where that is, and then you can then position your sentiment over like that, so it is then straight with the bottom centered, and that there is your card. Then you just do it like so, and then that stands up. Obviously some instructions may be necessary to the person who you're giving this to, but I think this is a lovely star card. I think it's really, really stunning. It's so easy to do, and another great way of using up your designer series paper. What do you think? Do you like it? I think it's stunning. I really, really like it. And you can do this again. This isn't a card which is just net for Christmas. It's a card for all year round. So again, pop this in your all occasion fold cards, just by changing your topper, by changing your designer series paper. You've got yourself a lovely card. I think for a start, it works quite nicely for Christmas. Yeah, I think it's really, really nice. I love it. I think it's so easy to do, and it stands up and looks perfect. How pretty is that? I hope you've enjoyed that. Thank you so much for watching. I will pop a link up here to one of our other videos, so you can, if you want to go and have a little look at our other Fun Fold Friday video tutorials, there will be somewhere up the top right here, right now. Links to everything, as I said at the beginning, can be found down below in the description as well, and I'll pop a link to Sam Calcott's video down there as well, so you can go and check out her stuff, which would be great. So with that in mind, I will say goodbye. Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you again either on one of our lives very soon, or again next Friday for another Fun Fold Friday video tutorial. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Take care for now. Bye bye.